Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Macky, and it's been a while.
It has.
But we're here with the Hidden Threads podcast. We've had Easter going on, a bunch of other things happening, so we're back recording a bunch for you today. What do you think, Juice?
Well, I can't wait.
Well, Juice has got his bass shirt on.
It's not a bass shirt. It's a salmon shirt.
Well,
fly fishing.
We're in largemouth bass country. What are you wearing salmon shirts for?
Salmons or salmon?
Salmon?
Salmon.
It's got an L in there somewhere.
Oh, my God.
You Yankees can't talk. Let's hear it for Juice, though, everybody.
Thank you very much.
So tell me about your Easter, Juice. Was it any good?
Yeah, my daughter and I had spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's what we had for our Easter dinner.
You worked on the Easter day.
I did.
I mean, you both did.
Yeah.
We had our little Easter gathering here. You can see in there's crayons and toys. We had the nieces and nephews over. They were coloring and all that, playing around, hunted some eggs.
I thought the missus was hiding Easter eggs for you to go find.
We did hide them.
Did you find them all?
The kids did. I didn't find them.
Oh.
So we used to have a golden retriever. You know, we're golden retriever lovers.
Right.
And she was an older one we had. She passed a few years back. Anyway, we used to hide real eggs around. And we'd say, hey, we're missing eggs. And she'd go around and eat them.
Nice.
She'd get free snacks out of the deal.
That's good.
But as long as she don't find anything chocolate, right?
Right.
All right. Dog that messes their belly up. We got a little shift in what we're talking about today. We're going to get into some corporate style stuff. What do you think?
Okay.
All
Let's do it.
I know you've done some corporate security for NASA.
A little bit, yeah.
That'd be more government, but you work for a private company working for NASA.
Right.
And you can't get into a government entity without running into a security company. I mean, a private company. They contract
They're contracted.
over 70% of their work, right?
Yeah.
So, by the way, what do you think of those actresses and those people going in outer space for 11 minutes?
You mean the ride?
Yeah.
You can do the same thing by going to a theme park.
Yeah. But you don't have a rocket under your butt.
I don't care. They did not do anything spectacular.
They floated around for 3 minutes.
They whatever.
Yeah.
That was just an overpaid joyride. That's all that was.
Bezos is a marketing genius. He got, I think it was 7 people who have over like 5 million followers each. So,
Oh, yeah.
So he knew what he's doing
Of course he did.
in the space race. So, Musk is contracting with the government on these, and Bezos is doing more recreation style stuff.
He's doing joyrides.
He's grabbing the other market share out there. He's like, well, I'm not going to compete with Musk at this level. So let's try this. And it's working.
You can't compete with Musk.
No, he's in with the president now and government. And,
yeah, but even when I was down there, SpaceX was just slaying the launches.
Right.
There was no slowing them down. They were full bore.
Yeah, and I like it. I like the idea of private company doing it. NASA's had its issues in the past.
It still has its issues.
They cannot keep up with the private industry on this.
No,
the government can't. But we get off the topic there a little bit. Here's the question for today, Juice.
Okay.
Are employees responsible for employee security? Or employers responsible for employee security?
Up to a point, I think so.
So I say if they're in that building and you're expecting them to have their head down working, then there's a reasonable expectation of security that company should provide.
Absolutely.
People should not just be able to walk in freely in and out of that building without somebody asking them why they're there or having some kind of access control. What do you think?
I agree, but you have access control in government facilities, on bases, NASA, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that everywhere in the civilian.
I think you should, though.
No, I agree, but you're not going to have that everywhere because they're trying to save money and, pad their bonuses at the end of the year.
Okay. So I think that if you're in a manufacturing plant, you're working the line, driving a forklift, you shouldn't have to be worried looking over your shoulder to wonder if some mad former employee is going to walk in that building easily and just start shooting the place up.
I agree, but with our backgrounds, you can't help that, especially since I've been shot. I don't want to get shot again. It hurts.
Right.
So I constantly have my head on a swivel.
Remember in one podcast that we talked about people that are in the military or the police make up 1% of the population.
Exactly.
So Susie, 25-year-old lady that's just wanting to have a good job, she's not worried about that.
No.
Sitting in her cubicle, building spreadsheets,
right,
running a process, whatever she's doing. So I think the company is responsible because
I agree.
If they fire somebody and that person walks in and starts causing violence on other employees, that company is going to get, you think they're going to get sued?
Oh, they should.
They possibly shut down. It's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt their reputation for sure.
Oh yeah, but they should. They're responsible for those people. People with our backgrounds, it's a little bit different for us because we're constantly looking.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody else without the education, the training, the skill set,
mm-hmm.
they should be able to be at work and be in peace and not have to fear for anybody coming in.
Right. So I'm aiming towards access control. I did one of these a few years back. It was during COVID, actually. I remember I had to wear the little mask around.
Right.
Before we didn't realize what we were into. It was right at the beginning of it. We didn't really know what it was. So yeah, I'll put a mask on until we figure out what this is. And to make people feel better about themselves, I guess. I hated the mask, by the way. Number one, I could smell my breath.
Right.
I drink coffee a lot.
Right.
A lot of coffee breath going on. But anyways, and I actually taught classes about access control. All right. This company, 8 locations, large manufacturing across the north part of Alabama. I'm not going to say the name because there's plenty of, that describes a lot of them, by the way.
Right.
We said right out the gate, they said, hey, we want active shooter training. We want you to do a risk analysis, all right, which included where their here we go, Juice. Vulnerabilities are.
Right.
I promise I went through the 4th grade.
It's okay. That's that Sand Mountain education. It'll be all right.
Vulnerabilities. And and we did. And one of their big things was there was no access control.
Right.
They told me at the beginning, there's no way you can get in our buildings without somebody noticing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
You can gain access into any building.
All right. They have these huge machines that when they're shut down, they lose about $15,000 a minute. Okay.
Right.
I made it into every building and shut the machines down within 15 minutes.
Oh, imagine that. Oh, wait, but you can't get in without being noticed.
I just walked in.
Yeah.
I just walked right on in and said hi to people. So when you go in these buildings, you're supposed to have some things, safety stuff. Eye pro, ear pro, a helmet.
Yep.
Your shirt tail tucked in. You can't go with that with your shirt tail out, right? Because they have some turning stuff that turns. It can jerk you up in there and make your day miserable.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Dangerous. It can be dangerous if you get inside the unauthorized boundaries.
Right.
I walked in, t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. Got a cup of coffee, hung out and talked to a few people. They're like, hey, you new guy? I was like, yeah, man, I'm new. Walking around where you're supposed to have on a helmet, steel-toed boots.
That's awesome.
And shut the machines down. And they're like, oh, the machines are down. And I was like, man, what's going on around here? You know what I mean? I just hit a button. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. Lesson learned for them.
It all came down to access control. Okay.
Right.
Now they had security guards at the gates, outer gate. And they said, what are you here for? And I said, I'm here to see. I named a person that worked there. They said, okay. Now the inner perimeter, they did not have access control. You could just walk right in, baby. And they had one building that they lock it down where they had some access control where you could just go in. They had a keypad where you punched a button.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have those doors that lock like that with the mag locks and stuff,
right?
If you prop them open, they don't work.
Oh, yeah. Imagine that.
I walked right in and shut everything down, and I was showing the videos, and that plant manager, the one where they do have the keypad,
yeah,
he said, "There's no way you got in here." And I had the body camera video, and he goes, "Man, we got to work on that." Okay, I was back over there. This was back in COVID 2020. All right, I went back about 2 months ago. Do you think they fixed it?
No,
absolutely not. Yeah, they paid me a lot of money to do this, and I gave them some recommendations how to do it in a cost-effective manner. We're talking less than $10,000 to outfit the whole facility, badges, the little swipe pads.
Oh yeah,
it was less than $10,000.
Card readers, ACPs, and all that.
This company makes $560 million a year. All right, and you think they took my recommendation?
No,
they did not. Okay. Now this company also got hit with ransomware on the cyber side before I went in there. Okay. I had complete access to their server, which runs these big multi-million-dollar machines too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mess with the server.
Right.
I took a picture where I could have just started pulling wires out.
Oh yeah. That would have really created havoc.
But their malware traced back to a IP address in North Alabama. Now it went to a little coffee shop, but somebody we think that used to work there actually walked in to that cabinet and used their Wi-Fi and hacked them and took control of everything. They had to pay money to get back control. So what do you think?
Hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to be proactive.
So this is a $500 million company, and their servers are in like a closet in there behind the mop bucket.
So it's in an area you have to know where it's at.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have your server in a closet that's a janitor closet.
Right. It should be in a secure location.
It should have its own designated area, air conditioned. Only a few people should have access to it. Your IT people. And some managers probably, in case IT's out for the day, right? In case there's an issue. But this one, you could just walk in there and spill your coffee all over it if you wanted.
Yeah.
And that was part of my recommendation as well. Hey, we need to upgrade this.
It's really simple to put, a card reader and an ACP. And you can have a list. NASA does it all the time. I could go when I did security for NASA, I can go into any building I wanted. I had a security clearance that allowed me to do that. Mm-hmm. But those that didn't have that clearance, their reader their card would only work at certain readers. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you can walk in the VAB if you're not allowed to be there.
Right.
It would not open that lock for you at all, and it would notify security, hey, you're trying to breach a building area you're not supposed to be in.
Right. That brings us to a different upgraded topic. We're going to get into employee violence, violent employees, when we come back in just a second. We'll be back in just a second. Hey, everybody, Macky here. I just wanted to go over our name change of our company. So this is the Hidden Threads podcast, but we also have a company. It was named Macky Outlaw Private Investigators. Now, with our expansion into other states and franchise owners buying into our franchise, we wanted to make it something where it's more of a team concept than just one person's name. Yep, that is my real name, Macky Outlaw. I get asked that every day. Hey, is that your real name? It is, in fact, on my birth certificate. But we have changed the name to ShadowNet. So the name comes from us working in the shadows for people all the time, and net for network, since we are a cyber forensics company. So we combine them together to ShadowNet Inc., and you'll see it on our advertisements and our Facebook page and other social media where you see it. So, yep, it's the same great company, same great results, just a different name, ShadowNet. Look for us on the web. Thanks. All right, everybody, we're back for the second part, and we're going to get into workplace violence, active shooter situations. Can you prevent it, Jus?
100% no, but you can put a pretty good dent in the abilities of a shooter to enter and start creating problems.
Yep. We started with access control. Now, there is a product out there I like a lot. It's this film they put over windows. Now, it doesn't make them bulletproof, but it makes them resistant.
Yes.
Like, I didn't believe the guy. He's out of Decatur. That's where they make it, and he distributes it there. But he had a demo set up. He said he gave me a hooligan tool, the fireman's tool, a hoolie, we called it in the military, and said, "Hey, go in that window." And I went, and it took me about 30 minutes. I was exhausted.
Nice.
So, to get through that thing.
That's just the real thin film that they put over that window. Still,
just a reinforcement,
like shading. Yeah.
So you could shoot through it, but it's not going to shatter. You know what I mean? It's not going to. But what it does, if somebody's trying to break in, it buys you time. Right. They got it on a lot of the schools have it now. There's that bug again, and the Cornerstone has it.
Yeah.
But bulletproof glass, now that's quite expensive.
Yeah.
And you got to redo your whole frame and structure and everything to hold that weight. But this stuff's just the film they put on, and it's relatively inexpensive when you look at it's like $20 a square foot or something.
In times like that, time is of the essence. I know it's a cliche saying, but every second counts.
Right. It does. And we did a drill. I've done a few drills with some banks and some corporations around here, where we actually said, active shooter, go to, we rehearsed where you go, where you hide, where you're going to go. Either run out of the building, go to the wood line, whatever it was, wherever your location is, or barricade yourself. Right. And it took an average of 6 minutes for police to get there, or county to get there. Right. We had it coordinated with them, and they were running lights and sirens, said, "Hey, we're doing a drill," kind of thing. It took 6 minutes, and I went around touching people, let them know, "Hey, you're dead," within that 6 minute period.
6 minutes is a lifetime.
It's been a gunfight. It's forever.
Yeah, it is.
But the big thing, though, access control, man, you got to keep these people away, get them out of the building, especially inner perimeter. And if you got an employee that's making threats, say, "Hey, you need to be dead, or I'm going to kill you," should that person be working there?
No.
when it comes out of their mouth or they type it in that email or whatever, it's over, man. There's no warning.
They don't even have to say it. You can see it in their behaviors and the way they posture that something's wrong.
Right. And it could be a domestic dispute. It could be they're getting written up at work, whatever. But if they say it, though, and make a threat, it's over. There's
it's done.
There's no, hey, we're going to write you up and give you a second chance.
Well, there are some places that'll do it. Right. I don't recommend that.
I don't either. We got the one in Mueller in Abertville. This is on the news. It's the fire hydrant manufacturer there in Abertville.
Oh, yeah. It made the news down there where I was at.
Yeah. And it's not the first time they were in the news for this, by the way. We'll get into that. All right. Mueller in Abertville. Before this happened, they actually talked to me about coming in and improving their security posture through a vulnerability assessment. I said it right, but I said the assessment wrong. Vulnerability. Get better. Now let's try burglary. Ooh, got it.
Hey, you practiced.
My Sand Mountain vernacular does not allow me to put the RGL together.
It happens.
Okay. But yeah, vulnerability assessment, that's where we go in and show their holes, their weak spots, and how to improve some of their existing security. And I gave them the price. They said it was too expensive. 3 months later, they had a guy walk in. How many did he shoot, Juice? Killed 2?
He shot 4, killed 2.
Yeah. Now, this was a domestic dispute where the guy was asked to go home already. They said, hey, go home, cool off. We know this is going on. Give him some time off. But he went home, got a gun, came back and confronted it was his girlfriend or wife, I can't remember, having an affair there with somebody else in the building. Still dangerous, right? We're shooting guns off in the middle of a factory.
Oh, yeah.
So, and came back and killed him. But they had some warning signs there. So if that's the case, so say you work in my plant or my building and you're having a rough time, and I say, Juice, go home for a week. You're getting paid vacation to go chill out, go get some mental help or whatever. Should you be allowed in that building until you're assessed again?
No.
All right.
Period. No.
This guy was allowed back in. Okay. Now, the security guard company did not react at all. They all hid out. All right. Run, hide, fight is the thing if you're an employee, right? Unless you're armed security, then you should be running to the threat, right?
Right.
Put the threat down. Okay. They hid in their vehicles, did not respond. Come to find out they had zero training in active shooter response. So, now, this was a security guard company where your starting salary was $8.25 an hour. Okay. Is that what you pay for type thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I got in law enforcement and my pay started out at $6.50 an hour.
That was in 1922, Juice.
It was not. Yeah, it was close to
it. This company makes a bunch of money.
Of course they do.
They have some
fire hydrants are all over the United States.
To the point where the town they're in, Abertville, is called Fire Hydrant City.
Yeah.
So Hydrant City.
We had one right out in front of my house in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it said Albertville, Alabama.
If it's made in this side of the Mississippi, it's typically made in that factory or their Pratt Whitney location in Decatur, Illinois, which we'll get to in just a minute. So,
right.
But yeah, so employment screening. Now, this guy, he had been working there for a while, but you can also get into situations where you hire people that have a horrible background where they're, we're too lazy to make calls to their previous employers and see if they had any issues with them in the past. You ever seen that before?
Well, everybody seems to think that if you call a previous employer of any individual, they can only tell you they work there and they don't work there anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's not true.
No, you can ask them whatever you want. Now, they don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
But if there's issues, I would ask. They may not tell you. All right.
Yeah.
If they refuse to tell you, then that may be a red flag.
That's a clue.
Maybe a red flag. But a lot of these people, though, they've worked there for a while and they just have an issue. They get fired or get written up, get demoted to something else.
Right.
And they said, well, I'm going to come back and take some action. In the Pratt plant in Decatur, Illinois, now it's owned by Mueller. All right. They make similar products there. I think they make the flanges there.
Right.
The accoutrements that go in these hydrants. And this guy was getting ready to be fired. It was a Friday afternoon. But anyway, the word leaked out, hey, you're getting fired. So somebody ran their stupid mouth, right, and told them they're getting fired. Friday afternoon's a good time to fire somebody. Gives them time to go think about it, maybe cool. It gives them a cool-off period.
Right.
Hopefully the plant's closed. But they said, hey, somebody snitched and said, hey, you're getting fired today. Went home, got his guns, and came back. Now, he killed 5 and a bunch of wounded. It took him a long time to find him. Now, the police actually responded to this. Security didn't respond. They hid out.
Not surprising.
$8.25 an hour, Juice. Maybe a little more in Illinois. Maybe up to $11 in Illinois.
I get it. But even at that low wage, I wouldn't be able to just sit by and do nothing.
No. You get a background where you're like, hey, we're going to go.
Yeah, we're going to get this. We're going to take care of it right now.
We're going to take care of this problem. That's how you active shooter response. You go to the sound of gunfire.
Exactly.
You act as quickly and as violently as possible. So
exactly.
Because typically you're not going up against a trained assassin here.
No.
And overwhelming force they're either going to give up or they're going to kill themselves or you're going to kill them. One or the other. You can end it pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the 6-minute response time, though?
Yeah, 6 minutes is a long time.
It is, especially in a big manufacturing plant. So they may get there in 6 minutes. Then we got to figure out where the guy is and get there. Move to the factory.
Yeah.
People telling you where he is, or pointing you in the right direction, or sound of gunfire, whatever you're doing. Anyway, this guy, he went home, got his guns, and came in, and took him a while to find him. He hid out. It's a huge facility, and he hid out. It took him a while to get him, but they eventually got to him, and he'd already committed suicide, I believe, which is typical. I think over half of them commit suicide.
Yeah. So, if they would just start with themselves first before they do the shooting, it'd be much better.
And do it outside so don't mess up the rug.
Yeah, that way you could just get the garden hose and
right.
take care of it.
I don't understand the mindset of these people where they say, hey, I'm having a bad day, so let's go kill as many people as possible.
I don't get it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if somebody desperately needs it and they're asking for it because they've broken into my house, they've attacked my daughter, they're going to get what they want.
Right.
But these people that just lose their minds because, I lost my job. You know what? I've lost a lot of jobs. Tomorrow's a new day. Go find another job.
Right. And it happens in schools where these kids get picked on.
So my biggest, most recent pet peeve where I had an issue with active shooter responses was the school in Texas, Uvalde.
Yeah, that was a slow response.
That had me so mad. Mm-hmm. I just can't believe the police did not act the way they should have.
Right.
That is aggravating.
So I've taught active shooter. You've taught active shooter. I participated in active shooter training. And you respond as quickly and as violently as humanly possible. Exactly. If it's just one person, you don't need two. Up until the one out in Colorado, the first big one, made the news.
Columbine.
You used to wait for at least 2 of you. You try to build a team up.
Yeah, we don't have time for that.
And they were doing that while kids are getting killed. And they're like, hey, if you're by yourself, we're going in.
Yeah.
If you got another guy with you, great. But we're going in, and hopefully, a lot of police don't want to hear this. Hopefully, draw attention to you.
That's what you should do as an officer. That's why you stand out. That's why you go to the sound of gunfire. You advance towards the threat.
And hope in particular, if you got a uniform on, it actually really does draw attention to you.
Yeah, so, I think it's great.
Right.
You know what? If my life is worth one kid, hey, so be it.
Right.
But when you have a school full and you have somebody in there that's obviously got mental issues and he's shooting kids, you should go in there and you should pray he targets you and leaves the kids alone.
Right. Hopefully you got your body armor on for the day.
Yes. So. And if you don't, you still don't stop until the threat is neutralized, period.
Right. Yeah. A lot of cops don't want to hear that these days, the ones we're hiring now.
Well, it's all video games and stuff.
Well, it's hard to hire people down in a politically driven police force. People don't.
I agree. It's gotten very political from when I started till now.
People don't want to work in that situation, so that's why we get 10 calls a week wanting to work for us. So yeah. I wish I could hire all of you, but I can't. All right, that's about it on the employee security. A little bit on active shooter there. What do you think so far?
So I don't care what your business is. I don't care if you're selling collectibles in a mom and pop fine and dime store, or you're in a large manufacturing facility or NASA. get with somebody, I don't care who it is, us, wherever, whoever, and come up with a plan for active shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Keep you and your people safe. Period.
Right. Yeah, we do teach this right here, and we can do it as simple as a 1 hour talk, which don't cost you anything. If I don't have to fly there, I'll drive there. It's free. All the way up to a multi-month consulting contract where we get your systems in place.
Yeah. It's not if it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. It's a reality. This is everyday life now.
Right. It is. Unfortunately, we see it on the news a lot. We just had one in Florida State.
Yep.
But, all right. We're going to sign off for now. We'll be back with a different topic here soon. Say bye, Jus.
Bye, Jus.
Nice. We did it.